I remembered how these very doctrines had repelled me, how senseless they had seemed when professed by men whose lives were spent in opposition to them, and how they had attracted me and seemed thoroughly reasonable when I saw men living in accordance with them. I understood why I had once rejected them and thought them unmeaning, why I now adopted them and thought them most reasonable. I understood that I had erred, and how I had erred. I had erred not so much through having thought incorrectly, as through having lived ill. I understood that the truth had been hidden from me, not so much because I had erred in my reasoning, as because I had led the exceptional life of an epicure bent on satisfying the lusts of the flesh. I understood that my question as to what my life was, and the answer, an evil, were in accordance with the truth of things. The mistake lay in my having applied an answer which only concerned myself to life in general. I had asked what my own was, and the answer was an evil and a thing without meaning. Exactly so. My life was but a long indulgence of my passions. It was a thing without meaning, an evil, and such an answer, therefore, referred only to my own life and not to human life in general. I understood the truth which I afterwards found in the Gospel, that men loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For every man that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. I understood that, for the meaning of life to be understood, it was first necessary that life should be something more than an evil and unmeaning thing discovered by the light of reason. I understood why I had so long been near to, without apprehending, this self-evident truth, and that if we would judge and speak of the life of mankind, we must take that life as a whole, and not merely certain parasitic adjuncts to it. This truth was always a truth, as 2 times 2 equals 4, but I had not accepted it, because besides acknowledging 2 times 2 equals 4, I should have acknowledged that I was evil. It was of more importance to me to feel that I was good, more binding on me than to believe 2 times 2 equals 4. I loved good men, I hated myself, and I accepted truth. Now it was all clear to me. What if the executioner, who passes his life in torturing and cutting off heads, or a confirmed drunkard, asked himself the question, "What is life?" He could but get the same answer as a madman would give, who had shut himself up for life in a darkened chamber, and who believed that he would perish if he left it. And that answer could but be, "Life is a monstrous evil." The answer would be a true one, but only for the man who gave it. Here, then, was I such a madman? Were all of us rich, clever, idle men mad like this? I understood at last that we were, that I, at any rate, was. Look at the birds. They live but to fly, to pick up their food, to build their nests. And when I see them doing this, their gladness rejoices me. The goat, the hare, the wolf live but to feed and multiply and bring up their young. And when I see them doing this, I am well convinced of their happiness, and that their life is a reasonable one. What then should man do? He also must gain his living like the animals, but with this difference, that he will perish if he attempt it alone. He must labor not for himself, but for all. And when he does so, I am firmly convinced he is happy, and his life is a reasonable one. What had I done during my 30 years of conscious life? I had not only not helped the life of others, I had done nothing for my own. I had lived the life of a parasite, and contented myself with my ignorance of the reason why I lived at all. If the meaning of the life of man lies in his having to work out his life himself, how could I, who during 30 years had done my best to ruin my own life and that of others, expect to receive any other answer to my questioning of life but this, that my life was an evil and had no meaning in it? It was an evil, it was without meaning. The life of the world goes on through the will of someone. Someone makes our own life, and that of the universe, his own inscrutable care. To have a hope of understanding what that will means, we must first carry it out. We must do what is required of us. Unless I do what is required of me, I can never know what that may be, and much less know what is required of us all and of the whole universe. If a naked, hungry beggar be taken from the crossroads into an enclosed space in a splendid establishment, to be well clothed and fed, and made to work a handle up and down, it is evident that the beggar, before seeking to know why he has been taken, why he must work the handle, whether the arrangements of the establishment are reasonable or not, must first do as he is directed. If he do so, he will find that the handle works a pump, the pump draws up water, and the water flows into numerous channels for watering the earth. He will then be taken from the well and set to other work. He will gather fruits and enter into the joy of his Lord. As he passes from less to more important labors, he will understand better and better the arrangements of the whole establishment, and he will take his share in them without once stopping to ask why he is there, nor will he ever think of reproaching the Lord of that place. And thus it is with those that do the will of their master. No reproaches come from simple and ignorant working men, from those whom we look upon as brutes. But we the while, wise men that we are, devour the goods of the master, and do nothing of that which he wills us to do, but instead seat ourselves in a circle to argue why we should move the handle, for that seems to us stupid. And when we have thought it all out, what is our conclusion? Why, that the master is stupid, or that there is none, while we ourselves are wise, only we feel that we are fit for nothing, and that we must somehow or other get rid of ourselves. End of chapter 11, recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine.